Welcome to Real Estate with Brenda K. We're going to talk staging today, and we'll be right back with Lisa Beaupre. And hello, thank you so much for joining us here at Real Estate with Brenda K. Today we're going to be talking with Lisa Beaupre, and you've been on the show before. We're going to talk about the cost of staging today. So let's start right in there, Lisa. People have a belief that it costs money to stage. Give us your view.
The cost of staging will vary depending on the state of your house, obviously. But majority of the people that I work with right now and the realtors, and if you have the right realtor working for you, that consultation will probably be at no cost to you. And why would you not take advantage of that initial visit?
Right.
And it's amazing. Once I go into the house and they listen to what I have to say, and we go from room to room, and how I can reassemble the rooms and say, oh, take that table, bring that down here, mix and match.
So you're using their own things.
Oh my God, I'm trying to be as creative as possible. And sometimes they say, we have no storage. And I'm like, well, let's put that couch over here. It fits right in there. And they're like, geez, I did not expect this outcome. And they're pleased because now they're realizing, okay, now it's doable, right? And I will work with any budget. Right? I will do everything I can. And a lot of times, I always say it costs you less to stage it.
And we're going to talk about that after we tell a story here, because exactly. Because today's buyers, you know, when I first started, David and I bought our first house in 1983. So you saw it in a newspaper, and then you went and looked at it, and that was it. You know, you got to see the size and the feel of the room and the flow. But nowadays, buyers actually disqualify themselves online.
See, there's a dilemma, or I don't know if it's a dilemma, but if you have been in your house for 40 years, say, and you're going on the market, you have not been on the real estate industry, you don't know what's going on out there, and now you're trying to sell, and you remember what it was like 40 years ago to sell a house, and
it's completely
changed altogether. So it's not easy. Or if you're, for me, it was a big light opening when I went from being a first-time home buyer to now selling and buying. Whoa, reality check, right? When realizing that it's like, oh, geez, I gotta start making changes. But the generation today are not hands-on. There's not a lot of people that know how to do. They're all tech savvy. Right, but they put a high price tag on freshly painting their room.
They do. Or they'll say, because I've had buyers say, oh no, it's all orange paint. And it's easy for us to say, well, you can just paint it. But here's the thing. If you get a house, remember the one we had down towards the end of Astle Drive, and you and I both walked in and we said, oh, your kitchen's pink. And she said, no, it's salmon. We said, it's pink. But it was such a big kitchen. And then her master bedroom, I remember, was the lime green. So it's not the buyers can't do it, but they don't want to take the expense of hiring, like you said, they don't do it themselves. They hire a painter. They're not. They just.
And she was a trooper, and she finally agreed to get it painted, and it made
it's sold.
Huge difference.
It's sold. It's
right.
Sold.
But it's again all creating balance. When I still think of her bedroom with that lime green, she had a lot of great lime accent, but everything was too much. And that's where I'm saying, okay, the balance, soften that up. What are you selling? It's the quality of that room, right?
Exactly.
The atmosphere. So we can still use those colors, but without going overboard with the walls that color. So that the buyer can say, all right, if I put an offer tomorrow, I can part my furniture in this bedroom.
I can put on my red accents in if I want.
And they'll say, oh, well, it's dull, it's neutral. But that's what
buyers
sells. That's what sells today.
That's
neutral
what
colors on your walls is going to sell your home.
Or the new ones.
I've done it.
Let's take a look today here at a couple. So here we've got a bedroom, and I think there's two shots, but we'll look. This is the dresser shot, and let's go to the bed shot. We can only show one at a time here on camera, so we'll talk about the bed and the.
So, you know, I'm showing this. Obviously, I went in, and I always tell people, and that's the other thing. I really want clients to feel comfortable when I'm going to do a consultation. And I'll call them and I'll book, and they'll say, oh, I have to clean before. And I'm like, you know what? No. leave. I come with no judgment. I'm here to strategize and help you. So I came and they didn't have their bed made.
Right.
But what we did here is I've convinced them to paint. The paint it was neutral enough, but it had a lot of marks on it and it was dull and it was 7 years old.
Okay, so it needed a new look.
Yeah, so we freshened it up.
Wow.
Yeah, they did well. She went in and she wanted a new headboard anyway, so that really helped us. We just kind of rearranged the furniture. She got fresh bedding for that and all stuff that she can reuse in
the same room.
Yeah.
And so let's bring another one up here. This is a home office?
Yeah, that was down in the basement, and this is the same client actually. And you see all the clutter and all the personal stuff here and there. And
let's flip to the next picture here.
And this is the outcome: freshly painted, brought in a rug, put in a different desk. And this was one chair too many in the living room. And instead of storing it, we found a purpose.
You repurposed it.
Yeah,
that is awesome. That looks beautiful. So, coming back to the cost of staging, I want to finish up our little video today. Let's talk about the cost of not staging.
Well, your house is going to stay on the market for much longer. Right?
Absolutely,
and your bills are still there, and it's still a stress, and
That's
it's still
yeah.
And I've seen it time and time and time again when people actually roll up their sleeves and it's amazing what they can accomplish just by having somebody and I'm not just saying me, but I'll work with them and I will definitely guide them and say, and I don't leave them alone. I follow up with them. And
I know you do, right? And you go back and you check the day of clothes and it's.
I've seen people the other day. I had one, and the fish tank was so massive, and as soon as you walked into the living room, that's the fish tank, and I asked them to move it, and they were like, okay. And when I went in, I had to bring in some props, and people can rent props from me. So that's another way to cost save, right? If they don't want to buy
stuff. Go buy. Oh, good point. You rent them.
Oh, yeah. So I brought in cushions and a coffee table, I think I brought in for them and stuff like that. And she says, oh, my God, because they moved
They did move the fish tank?
They moved it, and it looked so great where they put it. They cleaned it all up, and it's just in a small corner. It's not offensive. It's not taking too much room. And now I can actually see it's a living room.
Yeah.
And she says, the work that they had to do. She says, there was a little bit of arguing last night on why we should move that thing. And I'm like,
but if that's all your eyes see when you walk in, and the sad thing is, Lisa, with buyers, I find that a lot of people, they see the negative before they see the positive. So their eyes are instantly drawn to, oh, I don't like that color. Oh, that's too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
and I find that I'll get the odd client saying, I don't like my house this way, but it's just not about them anymore.
That's a good point. Right? That's a good point. Okay, so we were just talking about that. So I did a little write-up on selling your house, and that's one of the things I actually have in the write-up. We're going to put it on the home like a market commodity. It's a house for sale.
Yeah.
It's not, yes, it is still your home. We still want you, but we want to get you the most money we can for your house. That's the big thing.
I say a lot of times, we're not selling stuff, we're selling space. We're not selling your content, we're selling space. We're selling an atmosphere. We're selling, and I'm a practical person.
Yeah.
I'm very, very practical.
Yeah.
But people want to fall in love with the house. They don't want to fall in love with your stuff, right?
That's right.
So I'm always saying, be personalized. Nobody should know who lives in this house until you actually do a transaction.
Yeah.
Disconnect from those things. And I'm not saying to throw them away. I'm just saying, let's pack them.
You're just packing your memories. That's what I tell people. You're just packing your memories. That's what you're doing. So the point that you made a long time ago to me that really made sense to me, resonated years ago. When you get a house around, the 300,000 mark, well, really anywhere 275, 350 and up. When we have to adjust the price because it's not selling, they're usually about $5,000 increments. So, the cost of staging or the time of staging will be far less than a price adjustment.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Very seldom do we have to spend $5,000.
Yeah.
It all depends. Right?
You and I never have. We even did a whole house and didn't spend that much, I don't think. But Lisa, thank you so much for being here today. I love when you come in. I love the before and after pictures. If you're thinking of selling, you want to talk about getting ready, this definitely is the lady to talk to. And underneath, Lisa's name and phone number, contact information is going to be there. I'm Brenda K with Real Estate for Brenda K. Thank you so much for joining the channel. We talk about everything and anything to do with real estate. Please like and subscribe if you find them interesting, or send us topics maybe you'd like. They can tell us whatever they want to see.
Yeah.
All right, cheers.
Sounds good.